Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Bonsoir tout le monde et bienvenue. This is Victor Alpha 3 Charlie Juliet Zulu opening the Amateur Radio Exchange Group, AREG, for Wednesday, August the 9th, 2023. This is week 1560. 1560 for the AREG. May I remind everyone, when we reach 1564, it's in 4 weeks, it'll be the 30th anniversary of AREG. Hope to hear you all then. My name is Chuck, and my station is located in East Hamilton, Ontario. This net is on every Wednesday night, starting from 8 p.m. and ending around 10 p.m. local time here on 146.430. And since this is a Simplex Net, not everyone will be able to hear everyone else. So we also stream the net on YouTube so people can tune in and hear how they sound in my station and see their signal strength and see the station layout. Just type my call into the YouTube search box, again, VA3CJZ, and look for us live, or tonight will be under the title AREG Week 1560. Finally, we please ask that you try and leave a 2-second delay between transmission to allow others to break in. Now, before we take check-ins, I'd like to acknowledge the silent key Ron Moore, VE3 Romeo Mike, or VE3 Romeo Mike Alpha. Ron passed away yesterday, and so our thoughts and prayers go out to Ron's family. He'll be sadly missed. With that, let's open up the net and take check-ins for tonight's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
VA3 Eddie.
All right, VA3NE, I heard you there, Kevin, just before the net started. But my clock here on the computer did not say 8 p.m. yet. So, anyways, come on in there, Kevin. Are you on the portable?
Yeah, I've just been out on the porch all day. You should see my face. I was making videos on TikTok and on Facebook Live. When I looked at him, I have a red nose and a red face from sitting out in the sun all day drinking beer. But yeah, my clock is wrong on the handy talk. He was saying it was 5 after 8. And I looked on the phone, it was like a minute 2 or something. And then I went to Zoe. I go, I thought I was in an apocalypse or that. Nobody answering on Zoe or on here. So I thought, well, all the hammies around here, nobody tuned in. But then I come back to here and I heard you doing your announcement. Yeah, it's sad about Ron. I've known him back from the chicken band days when he went by the handle Toolbox. Me, him, and Big Tom in the East End, we all drove livery cab and taxi around and stuff. Yeah, good old guy. He'll definitely be sadly missed. All right, back to you, Chuck. Have a good evening, and hopefully you get a lot of check-ins on here tonight. I'll be listening along on the porch with my can of beans antenna up there in the East Trough, the
A3. Copy that on the bean can antenna reflector there. Okay, very good, Kevin. Yeah, for sure. Anyone else who's listening has any stories they'd like to share about Ron, VE3RM? I met Ron, I think, was it last year or the year before, over at Paul's VE3 PDL's place. And he was having issues with his legs then. So it's no surprise that after his stroke there, I had to learn how to walk again. But yeah, very unfortunate. Very nice guy. Okay, I know a lot of you are out there getting your your calls into the POTAs that are. It's 8 p.m. now. It's a new day, Zulu time. So let's see if anyone else is out there who'd like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey.
Victor Echo 3, Zulu Juliet Charlie.
VA. Yeah.
Okay, I've got IMW, Zulu, Juliet, Charlie, and NCA. Anyone else?
Sorry, Victor Juliet, Charlie.
All right, somebody's out of breath. All right, you made it just in time, Richard. We got you in there. All right, let's start with that and go and say hello to Victor Alpha 3, Indy Mike Whiskey. Mac, come on in.
Hey, good evening, Chuck. It's a beautiful Thursday. No, it's not Thursday yet. I guess it's Thursday over there, isn't it? Yeah, brand new UTC day. But Wednesday evening and nice and relaxing. We've checked in with Chris on the RSB repeater, and he's still cooking along there with check-ins for the Burlington Amateur Radio Club. He keeps bubbling over about the summer schedule and how that's had a positive impact. So I hope that has the same impact on the activity here tonight. I'm sincerely hoping that Richard can hear me tonight, but we'll just wait and see. Let's see. Other than that, maybe I'll just take a back seat and listen along. You got a couple of more guys to say hello to. And no, of course not. I'm not going to turn on my HF radio and work POTA in the background. I wouldn't do that. I'm going to pay attention to Chuck because it's Wednesday night, and that's what we do on Wednesday evening. Back to you, VA3 CJZ.
Okay, very good, Mac. Thank you for that. And I'd also like to take the time out to acknowledge Sean, VE3FNI, checking in from YouTube. Thank you, Sean. Much appreciated, sir. Hope everything is going well with you. And thank you for checking in. Also, I heard Wade in there, but I think I heard Wade check in with the RF as well. So anyone else listening, you want to tune into us on YouTube, just go to YouTube and put in VA3CJZ, and you can look us up live tonight. All right, so let's move along. And who's the next person here? We've got Victor Echo 3, Zulu, Juliet, Charlie. Jason, come on in.
Evening, Chuck, and everybody else on net tonight. Nothing exciting for me. It was a work from office day today. Traffic on the QEW coming home is as garbage as usual. And I'm just following along with the net, sitting here programming spreadsheets out for my new mobile unit, getting all of the repeaters that exist in the areas that I frequent around here in Durham, and my plans to go up north on the weekend. So nothing overly exciting for me. Hope everybody else is having a fantastic week so far. Back to you.
All right. Well, that was a mouthful. But the part that caught my ear was up north. I'm always about getting away, and going north is a Canadian thing to do, or that's what you hear everyone saying they're doing. And it's like, here we are complaining about all these long winters, but in the summertime, where are you going? Oh, I'm going up north. Very good there, Jason. Yeah, well, we're winding down the summer now, and it looks like their predictions about not having a super hot summer here in southern Ontario came to fruition, because I swear we didn't get as many heat days as we did previous years, so that was good. Anyways, thanks for joining us there, Jason. Much appreciated, sir. Do you have anything else? No, any other traffic?
Just the up north is Owen Sound, and I'm probably definitely hitting the Hanover Ham Hall on my way up there. The missus and I will be riding some new trails on the bikes this coming Saturday. Other than that, nothing else. I'll follow along for the rest of the night. VE3ZJC.
Okay, very good, Jason. Oh, man, before I continue, I forgot. I had a question for everyone listening there, and this shouldn't be too difficult. It's do you remember the first time you saw the ocean, and how old were you, and where was it from there? Jason, have you been to the ocean?
I have, good sir, and I can remember the first 2 times that I saw the ocean. The very first time was on a family vacation in the early 80s out to Cape Cod, and the second time was a couple of years later on our first family trip down to Florida.
All right, very good. Yeah, both very nice places. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so before I continue on down the list, let's go back to Mac if he's still there. Did you hear my question, Mac?
Roger, Roger. I was not making contacts on HF. I've got my hand in the air there. Yes, my first view of the ocean obviously would be from the region around the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick. So that would go back to, I guess I would have been around 5 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood. And yeah, that's a few years ago.
Yeah, very good. First time I was around the Bay of Fundy was during basic training there. Way back for me, it was 1979. So very good. Thank you, Mac. Let's see if Kevin is listening. VA3NE. Have you been to the ocean, sir?
Oh, yeah, I was about 9 years old in 1975. I rode on the ferry boat called the Chichimo, went to Manitoulin Island. And where was it we drove to? Gulf? Gulf? Somewhere, I can't remember. I was only a kid. And I went with my sister and her husband. He was a hunter fisherman. We went and had a cabin out there in Manitoulin Island. But yeah, we rode the Chichimo. And I thought it was neat. It had elevators on the boat, pay phones, all kinds of fun stuff. But, oh, yeah, that's how we got to the island. Anyhow, back to you, VA3NE.
Okay, very good, very good. So now that we've gone to the beginning of the list, let's go and pick up Wade. Good evening, Wade. Victor Alpha 3, November Charlie Alpha.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 MCA. Good evening, Chuck, and good evening all on net. Another good, nice Wednesday. Weather has been very nice so far, with just a little bit of rain, and I've hit 845 kilometers so far on the bike this month. So on my way to 1,500, and the weather has certainly made that possible with such nice days out there. So. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last little while. Had a nice ride around the bay twice today with the Hamilton chapter coordinator there, Matt. So it was nice to get out in a smaller group than the full chapter. And yeah, so other than that, I don't have much else for the net, except for your question there about seeing the ocean. I did, when I was a kid, the family did a trip out west to visit my cousins. At the time, they were in Saskatchewan, and I know there's no ocean in Saskatchewan, but we continued on after visiting with our cousins, and we continued on to BC and over the mountains there and to Victoria, and went to the ocean. So I can't remember how old I was, but I wasn't very old. We drove out because in that day that wouldn't bankrupt you. Yeah, so that's about all I remember from it, because I must have been single digit age anyway. So that's my when did I see the ocean the first time story. Back to you, Chuck.
Oh, okay, very good, very good. Yeah, I was about first time for me was I was about 15. We took my father and I took a Greyhound bus from Ottawa to Daytona Beach. And after that, when we went back, we drove, because you're so restricted on a bus, Sure, you didn't have to drive and pay attention, but yeah, my father really missed the fact that you can come and go as you please with your own vehicle. So after that, it was their own vehicle. But yeah, Daytona Beach was the first place for me, and then after that, like I mentioned, Nova Scotia there, and then after that, when I was close to 30, I got to see the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, that was fun. All right, very good. Thank you, Wade. I'd also like to acknowledge Bill, VE3 India United Kilowatt, IUK. Bill, thank you for checking in, sir. Much appreciated. Well, we're going to have to get you a long pole so you can put your antenna up there, even if it's your rubber ducky. Tie that on a pole there, and so you can get in with us on 2 meters here. Okay, very good. Then, Wade, anything else, sir, before we move along?
Let's see. No, not really. I'll just, it occurs to me, I couldn't remember too much until I started thinking about it. What punctuated that vacation drive out to BC to see the ocean ultimately was, my dad had this habit of looking for, he's a librarian and, retired now, but, he would find every little oddity, that you could stop at to see. I think we saw, the world's roundest, most natural potholes in the northern areas of Ontario as we went around the Great Lakes on our way out west. We saw, it's hard to remember the specifics. I remember they were odd and varied. There might have been the largest ball of twine along the way. A few things like that. He would find all those things, and we would go out of our way to try and see them on the trip out west there. But with that, I'll listen along, and I'll be happy to hear from you again on the next round. VA3NCA, back to you, Chuck. Thanks.
Okay, very good there, Wade. I traveled extensively in my younger years there throughout the States and Canada, and I've seen a lot of those biggest this, biggest that, and they're usually along, either a main bypass highway or something. It's pretty hard to miss, but it's a lot of fun, yeah, as you travel. So thanks again for that, Wade. And so next, let's see now. We've got a special treat for you. We've got Victor Alpha 3, Victor Juliet Charlie, North End Richard. Come on in, Richard.
Well, I didn't know it was that special. I got my breath back. I found this somewhere in the van. Anyway, speaking of the ocean, I remember it when I was about 4.5, 5 years old, leaving England. I believe that called it the North Atlantic. And I remember it going to Putrid Egghead Island in the 70s and doing the ferry before they built the bridge, going to PEI. And went to Summerside, but it was too warm there, too many jellyfishes. So we went to Cavendish Beach, and it was colder than a devil's heart, but no jellyfishes. So that's what I've seen of the ocean. Anyway, okay, newsflash. Like the wife and I were out doing chores, and we did a bit of driving around, pick up here and bits and bobs and whatnot. And her son called and said, "You pick me up a beer." Some beer. So we went to the beer store drive-through, and as we're coming out, some excuse for a female in a big bloody one of those offshore trucks, Tundra or something, decides that she didn't like my tailgate, so that's all caved in now.
Oh dear, this is at the beer store.
Yeah, the drive-through exit. I got the beer and whatnot, and we're proceeding out. I treat that as a two-way entrance and exit, but most people use it as an exit. But anyway, and I crossed the crosswalk. My front wheels hit the bottom of the ramp, and I took the right lane. And I was okay. I want to take John Street so I can do a loop around, so I can point the right way on the street. And okay, nothing coming from the west. I looked to the east, ready to go, and bang. And then she has the nerve to say, What are you standing there for? What are you blocking the exit for? You start coming out on me.
Oh dear, the blame game. Oh, that's terrible. So, what did you exchange information afterwards, or what?
Well, I got her ownership, and I gave her my ownership, and the wife, being as smart as she is, and she was quite shook up, by the way, crying her eyes out, but she managed to get a picture of the perpetrator's license plate. So we called the cops, and they're tracing it down. I had an appointment with Intact Service on John Street South. Took pictures of it. I got emails, so when they determine 100% liability, the ball will start rolling.
All right. So, is the car drivable?
Oh, it's just where it says, it's just the right side that the hatch, you know, there's nothing wrong with the sill or the cavity it fits in. It's just the actual, I guess you call it a tailgate, and the tail light's fractured. You can tell it's garbage, but it still works. It's still functional. It's still drivable, but I don't know. And Wynn just says the wife is getting over her trauma from being ripped off her scooter by a bloody PSW. She's starting to get a little bit of, confidence in herself to go out. So that's what we did. And next thing you know, bang! And it was not a little nudge like the excuse of an idiot said so. It was a push. She must push me about 2 or 3 feet further into the road.
Roger. So, are you back home now, or you're still out and about?
Oh, I'm back home. Yeah, doesn't know where to go. Really, no appointments. So I got one tomorrow, but I'm down at the North End Park again, where I can get good coverage and watching the kids play soccer and whatnot. You know, waiting for the sunset to go down or the rain to start. It doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I say I'm taking up too much. I'm taking up enough of your time anyway. So I'm going to sit back and listen to who else is going to check into your net.
All right. Thank you very much, Richard. Much appreciated, sir. And you are just booming in here. I can hear the breeze blowing into the microphone there. So very good. Okay, before we take any more check-ins, I would like to acknowledge Bill, VE3IUK. His first view of the ocean was from Atlantic City. Second was from Bermuda. Ooh. And third was from southern England on a hydrofoil that took him to the Isle of Wight. So congratulations, Bill. Now, Bill, how old were you when it was the first... your first Atlantic City there? How old were you then? Please let us know. And good evening, Wayne B, VA3 FMB, checking in with us as well on YouTube. How are you, sir? Good evening. Question of the evening is, have you seen the ocean, and how old were you first time you saw the ocean? Okay, Wayne? All right, so with that, let's see if anybody else is out there would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. My name is Chuck, here in the east of Hamilton. New check-ins, please come now.
Good evening. This is Gary in downtown Hamilton, Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo.
VA3 OYL.
VA3 XLJ.
Okay, with that, I've got 3 check-ins so far. I've got JGK, OYL, and XLJ. Anyone else?
VE3 FJJ.
And I hear VE3 FJJ. All right, we'll start with that. And let's go and say hello to Gary, VE3 Juliet Golf Kilo. Come on in, Gary, and welcome.
Good evening. It's my first time checking into this group and just learning who's who and trying to get a handle on what the topic of the evening may be. But anyhow, we're very close to the West Harbor GO station. I'm just using a handheld with a cookie sheet and a mobile antenna, so nothing too dramatic for what I'm getting out on. But virtually everybody is full quieting coming into me, so it's rather surprising for a Simplex Net. And with that, back to net control. Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo.
Well, Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo, Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. Uh, yeah, that's amazing. Another cookie sheet system. I think because you're down there by the GO station, you're getting reflection off the steel rails, possibly. That's fantastic. You're full scale over here. I'm 2 blocks south from the Center Mall there at Barton and Ottawa. I'm on Campbell Avenue, and yeah, you're doing great there, Gary. The question of the evening was, do you remember the first time you saw the ocean, or have you not?
Well, I can't say I remember it because my parents took me on a Route 66 road trip from Montreal to Los Angeles when I was something like 2 years old. And although I've seen the videos and pictures, well, videos in this case means movie, that I know I saw the ocean, but nope, can't remember it.
All right, but you got proof you've been there. That's good enough for me, Gary. Okay, well, welcome to the net. We're here every Wednesday night between 8 and 10 p.m., and it's a very friendly get together. We don't discuss politics or religion, and absolutely no foul language. Other than that, we have a lot of fun and usually pick a subject that's, different and not always related to radio. I thought we'd change it up this time around. And so, again, and we stream the net on YouTube. If you want to hear yourself, just go to YouTube and put in my call, VA3CJZ, and you can find us tonight live. And so, or you can play it back later. All right. Anything else, Gary, before we continue on?
Nope, can't say there's anything else. Well, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, with stuff to say, so we'll just keep it moving along and listen. VE3JGK.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so let's move down to Victor Alpha 3, Oscar Yankee Lima. Debbie, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck and all on net. Not much going on here. I've been chasing a special event station. It's a bunch of YLs from Poland, I think it is. And I forgot about it till last night, so I've been chasing them all day today, but I haven't been able to find them. So hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. The special event station is Sierra Papa 88 Yankee Lima. And I'm not sure exactly what the special event is, but that's what's going on here. Now, as far as the first time I saw the ocean was about the year 2005, 2006, and it was a trip to Mexico, to a resort there. And since then, I've been back there many times, and I've also been to Cuba and Punta Cana and the Dominican Republic. I would like to see the ocean from Canada's view. So we'll see.
Yeah. There's one thing that I must admit, though, places like you've mentioned, Cuba and Florida, the beaches, the sand on those beaches is so unreal. You've never seen sand like that here in Canada, and you never will. It's amazing. It's it's quite the thing to see and feel on your feet, because some beaches there, feet catch fire in the sand.
Yeah, my first time I saw the dark black volcanic sand was in Cuba, and I was sort of fascinated by it. because I had never seen it before. But nice white beaches are nice. I remember where was it? Dominican Republic, I think it was. No, it was Cuba. It was Cuba. When the tide went out, you could walk out quite a ways and poke things
Oh yeah.
and whatnot. That was fun too.
Yes, when the tide goes out. Yeah, yeah. You can, like in Daytona Beach. You got to remember, that was it's the only beach in the world that you can drive on, and at one point it was, anyways. And so I remember seeing cars parking too close to the edge of the water when the tide was low, and then when the tide came in, you could not get that car. You have to get a tow truck and get pulled out if you can get pulled out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would love to go to New Zealand sometime and
Oh yeah, you and me both.
travel around Canada a bit more as well. Those are my sort of bucket list things.
All right, very good, Deb. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Um, are you going to stick around? We're going to come back to you in a while.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll be listening along and podiing on the other radio while I'm listening.
Very good then. Okay. All right, so we'll clear with VA3OYL. And let's say hello to Victor Alpha 3, X-Ray Lima Juliet.
Hello, Chuck, and everybody on the net. So everything is well on my end. Regarding the ocean, does the sea count?
Oh, yeah, ocean, sea, anything saltwater.
I don't remember the first time when I went to sea, because I mean I have pictures when I was kid, like a baby, like I don't know, maybe 6 months old or so. I do some of the pictures like which I brought from back home, and so that would be the first time. But the first time that I remember being a kid, but I just can't, my brain does not, how you say this, connect my age at the time and the events. But I must be small, like 3, 4, 5. I remember like running away and thinking it's fun to hide from my mother. So, so that didn't work out well for me. But when she found me, uh, yeah, that's the first time that I remember like a sea. But the first time with the ocean was actually funny. Thing enough, I'm going through my pictures on my cell phone, and it was July 7th, 2010. We were at Cocoa Beach, the whole family. So
Oh,
I don't know, is that before we went to Disney World or after? But it really doesn't matter. So we spent a couple of days there, and I really like it. I'm hoping I'm gonna go again there. So that was the first time ocean and first time the sea was, I guess, when I was kid. But the most memorable thing regarding the ocean was a few years back, like in about 5 years ago, when we went for vacation, and we arrived at like I don't know, 5:45 or 5:30 in the morning to the Myrtle Beach. And
oh yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, Chuck. Like that sunrise, what I experienced that morning, it's
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna ever forget. Uh, I don't think I'm gonna ever forget it. Like it's just really something to see, I guess.
Well, yes, absolutely. If you're on the Atlantic coast, looking out at the Atlantic Ocean, that's where the sun comes up, and yeah, it's beautiful. And so, well, congratulations there, Vanya, for sharing that with us and being so young um, that you remember. Anyways, probably even before you remember. So that's very interesting. What was I going to say? Yeah, I remember the first time I also swallowed seawater. and it completely got a wave right in the face. I was out in the ocean and playing, and all of a sudden a wave caught me off guard, and my mouth was open, and swallowed a bunch of water, and it was like, oh my god, that's terrible. I can't imagine being stuck out in the ocean. Your boat sinks or whatever, and you swallow. Oh, it's terrible. But anyways, it's a beautiful place. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Vanya, we're going to move along. Do you have anything else for us?
Well, let me ask you this question. What is your earliest memory when you were a kid? I remember like a park, and I must be like a 2 or 3 years old, and I
Yeah.
remember the fountain. I remember vividly, like as it was today. For whatever reason is, I just remember the fountain, and I was like 2 or 3 years old at the time. That's what my mother told me. So she remembered the day, but she couldn't remember the how old I was.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was at about 2 years old. My earliest memory. Um, believe this or not, I remember when they announced the assassination of JFK over the radio, and I was 3 then. And so I even remember when I was 2, because they showed, I saw a picture of myself and said, I remember that. And my parents were like, no, you were like 2. And I was like, I remember it. And I described other things that were in the room and everything. And my mother was just amazed. So, yeah, some people have very, very early memories, very early childhood memories.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like because I remember maybe few events from the when I was kid, and yeah. So, but this one stick with me, like, because I know I have to be small because I remember that day mother the helping me to get up on top of the slide and waiting for me to come down. So because I remember like until I was 6 years old, like those communist slides, they were like I'll tell you, I mean they never worked right. Anyways, so where am I going with this? Yeah, I remember her lifting me and going around and telling me to go and stuff. So yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna be holding you back, Chuck. So we'll go to the next guy.
Okay, very good, Vanya. Thanks for sharing all that with us. Are you going to be sticking around with us, sir?
Yeah, we finished our bagels and I finished my coffee. So I have to fill up the gas in the car. So I might do that as a chore later on. But I'll stay for the race. At least I'll try. If not, I'll rejoin you from the house, I guess.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Vanya. All right, so let's see. Where are we now? We've still got Flynn, VE3 Fox Juliet Juliet. Come on in, Flynn.
Hey, Chuck, and everybody on that. Just thought I'd key up and say hello, and hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of helicopter fluttering coming in with your signal there, but I can make out everything you're saying. No problem there. So you're on the portable?
No, I'm on the base. It should have been better. I don't know what's going on there now, but who knows? It's the joy of radio.
All right. Yeah, I got you at an S6. That's perfectly fine. From your location there. So until you get a bit more height, maybe that's fine. So, excuse me. I don't know if you were listening there, but we're asking, do you remember the first time you saw the ocean, or have you ever been to the ocean?
Well, actually, Chuck, I have been to the ocean. I was a teenager. I was down in Ocean City, Maryland. Got to see the wild horses down there running around, and got to experience seeing ghost crabs in the evening time running across the beach, and got to see a horseshoe crab. Actually, I stepped on it when I was swimming in the ocean.
Ouch. Yeah, you got to be careful what you step on. I remember I was with a female friend of mine. At one time there, we were in the Atlantic Ocean in Florida, and a fish swam right into her nether region and hit her. and it scared her. It's just a little fish. It's okay. But yeah, first time in the ocean for her, right? So it was a little bit scary. She was from Alberta, which is, yeah, not too much large water in Alberta.
No, that's true. I know Alberta, and I know the West quite well. They call us East Coasters, even though we're from Ontario, but that's what I was called. But yeah, no, it was an experience. I liked it. You know, I wish I could go back maybe one day. So it was kind of cool, just sitting there swimming in the water. But I never got stung by a jellyfish, so that's a good.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to get stung by a jellyfish. There are many varieties of jellyfish, and some hurt more than others. And I don't know if you've ever heard, but apparently the stinging can be soothing if you urinate. I think if you urinate on it. And so I'm not exactly sure how that goes. Um if it's just anyone or if it's you, or but apparently it helps the stinging because apparently they can get quite unbearable. So, like I said, you don't want to get stung by a jellyfish. All right, Flynn, you gonna stick around or are you taking off?
Oh, I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna try something here while I'm, listening along. I got another antenna here, so I might try to throw that up. I got it given to me, so I might throw that up and see if that might make a little bit of a difference. But well, I'll be here, so.
Okay, very good then. Well, like I said, you're in S6 right now, and so if we can hear you when you come back, we'll give you a signal report then. Okay, very good. So we're going to clear with Victor Echo 3, Fox Juliet Juliet. And let's see if there's anybody else out there who would like to check in with us here on the AREG Net, Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ, looking for check ins. All right. I'd also like to mention before we start the on this day, I want to mention the loss of Robbie Robertson from Toronto. He was a guitar player and writer for the band The Band. It was a Canadian band back in the 60s and 70s. And he wrote, Robertson is credited with writing and co writing the band's signature songs, which include the song The Wait, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, Up on Cripple Creek, The Shape I'm In, and Chest Fever, to name a few. So Robbie Robertson's death was announced today. And like I said, he's from Toronto, and he's not very, not as popular as those big bands, but a very big contributor to the music world for sure. All right, so let's start with some contests we have happening this week, and we'll go to contestcalendar.com, and I see a few contests that are 2 days, and we'll start with a CW contest called the WAE DX contest, and that's for CW on 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, and 80. And that starts Friday at 8 p.m. and ends Sunday at 7:59. Then we have the ARRLEME Earth, Moon, Earth contest. So if you've got directional antennas that you can bounce off the moon, that is what this contest is for. And that's for 2.3 gigahertz and up for CW, phone, and digital. Another big contest coming up is called the FISTS, FISTS, Saturday Sprint. That's CW. Again, 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, and 80. And after that, we have a 2-meter contest called the Triple M MMMON VHF Dubus Meteor Scatter. There we go. So any mode on 2 meters. Interesting. The SKCC Weekend Sprintathon is on for CW from 6 meters, 10, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160. Next, we've got a 40-meter only contest for the SARL Youth QSO Party. And that starts at 1200 Zulu, August 12th, and ends an hour later at 1300 Zulu. We also have the Maryland DC QSO Party, and that's for digital, phone, and CW. And that's for 70 centimeters, 2 meters, 6 meters, 10, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160. So, and finally, we have the Kentucky State Parks on the air. So that's an official contest. So those bands are for 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 for CW, single sideband, and digital. And that about wraps it up for all the larger contests. For more information and the rules applying to these contests, just go to contestcalendar.com online, and that's one word, contestcalendar.com. And you get all your information for contests there. You can view contests for 8 days at a time if you like, or for the whole year, or whatever they have here to offer you, 1 or 2 weeks worth. And so yeah, it's a good site. I highly recommend it. All right, with that, do we have any other check-ins for this evening's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is week 1560. Might I remind you, when we reach 1564, it will be the 30th anniversary that AREG has been on the air. And by 30th, I mean 30-year anniversary since John Sims started the net in Dundas. That's VE3 Juliet Sierra Uniform. VE3 JSU started that 30 years ago. And so back in 93 now, that would be. So we're coming up to the 30-year anniversary. Hope to hear you all then as well. Anyone else out there wishing to check in with us tonight, please come now.
VE3KKP.
Okay, I think I heard 2 stations there, VE3KKP. Who's the other station? Okay. All right then, VE3KKP. Come on in, Kevin.
Hey, good evening, Chuck, and everyone on net. Yeah, just a quick check-in for you there. I just got here, actually, so I'll be listening along for the next hour.
All righty then. Fantastic. Glad you could join us, Kevin. How'd you make out on the parks there? How are the bands?
Not too bad. 40's okay. Mac and myself just worked Crotch Lake.
Crotch Lake. Okay, right on.
And it's the Bush Dogs radio group that's up there activating. So, yeah, that's pretty funny.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Interesting. Okay, Kevin, do you have any other traffic to share with us?
Not at the moment. I can't think of anything, but I know there's something. I'll think of it.
Yeah. Did you hear me mention the parks on the air? Kentucky State Parks on the air coming up this weekend. It's a very short window. It's only from 1400 Zulu on August 12th until 2200 Zulu. That's for 8 hours only.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the Kentucky State Parks on the air. So August 12th, 1400 Zulu to 2200 Zulu. And that's for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, and 80. Digital, single sideband, and CW. So good luck with that. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Let's see. Anyone else out there wishing to check into the Amateur Radio Exchange Group? My name is Chuck, and my call is VA3CJZ. I'm over here by the Center Mall in East Hamilton. Any new check-ins, please come now.
VE3XKB.
Hey, there's a ghostly sounding voice. I haven't heard that call in a while. VE3XKV. Bob out in Flamborough. Come on in, Bob. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, Chuck. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. But, yeah. Well, I've been trying to get things done around here. It's pretty tough to do with a hernia hanging out, so. But I've been wearing the belt and persevering, I guess you could call it. Been watching them build the CHCH, the new CHCH tower down
right.
a couple kilometers down the road from me here, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. I heard somebody talking about that just recently, saying they were watching the tower also being built there at number 5 somewhere. Can you remind everybody where it is?
Yeah, right at Mazza Avenue. The what do they call it? The place where they sell a lot of old junk. I forget what you call it now. And yeah, that's Mazza Avenue, right up on the hill.
Were you referring to an antique dealership?
Well, I don't know if it's a dealership, but yeah, they used to sell junk there. They call it antiques, but most of it, as far as I'm concerned, was just junk. But yeah, that place there. I don't know. Were you aware of that place up there, Chuck?
Geez, Bob, it's been so long since I've been up that way. I do know the area, yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah, well, it's halfway between my place and Clavison's Corners there. So it's about 2 kilometers from Clavison's Corners, about 2 kilometers from my place. Actually, it's 5 kilometers from my place to Clavison, so it's right pretty much in the middle there.
That's a fantastic location, to put up an antenna. It's a great spot.
Well, yeah, it's a high spot. Yeah. And yeah, well, the Stony Creek one was pretty much at lake level, I guess. At least a couple 100 feet, I guess, probably, yeah, got to be a couple 100 feet above the lake out this way anyway.
Yeah, for sure. There's some high ridges in that area there, so the coverage will be awesome. Okay, yeah, lots going on there. So I guess they want to build some more houses or something at the old place, right?
Well, they want to build some houses out behind my place, but they put a series of wells in back here, and it's between me and Christie's there. Okay. But yeah. The rendering plant that's out here, they wanted to drill some more wells, and they prevented them from drilling some more wells because they said the water table couldn't sustain that for the amount of water that they're using. But these are 1.5, 2 acre lots they got back here. They want to fill them up with like 30 houses instead of the big lots that they were originally zoned for, right? And so, you know, it'd be, maybe, 7 or 8, maybe 10 homes that they would have originally built. Now they want to put in 30, but I don't think it's going to go through because of the water table.
Yeah, well, that's a good enough reason for me. I don't want to get into it, Bob, because we're on the net, but I saw in the news today big scandal about the green belt and favoritism to developers and so on and so forth. And we're still battling. We're still needing land, apparently, uh, but we've got plenty of land we can start building houses on. It's just they're not building them. Ford directly pointed out Burlington for only producing 200 houses out of a promised 20,000 or something along that line. They're only building 5% of what they said they would. And so, anyways, it's all over the news. It'll be in the news cycle for the next couple of days there for sure. Anyhow, Bob, thank you very much for checking in, sir. I'm glad you're hanging in there. No pun intended. I worked with a guy who had a truss there, and we were installing air conditioners. So, what a trooper he was. Anyhow, Bob, thanks again, my friend. You have anything else? Any other traffic for us?
Negative. Like I said, I've been pretty busy. Still monitoring my my other operation I had there in 2020. So a lot of medical appointments, so to speak, and with the new issues as well. So we're having lots of fun here.
Yeah, yeah. Did you hear about Ron passing away? VE3RM.
Yeah, I didn't know him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I used to hear him once in a while. He'd come on the ZOE repeater quite a bit there and chit chat with us. But yeah, I believe he had a stroke and didn't fully recover and passed away.
Now, did he have a 3-letter call sign at one time, or like as I don't recognize the 2-letter one.
It used to be VE3RMA, Romeo Mike Alpha, and then he got the 2-letter call because his name is Ron Moore.
Okay, well, yeah, it's time keeps moving, Chuck. One of these days you'll hear about VE3XKV as well.
And CJZ and everyone else, we all take a turn.
You got that right, Chuck. Everybody in his time, right?
Yeah, everybody gets a turn. Don't you worry. The ride's not over, but it is. Anyways, okay, Bob. Thanks a bunch, my friend. Geez, I got to give you a call. We'll chat.
Yeah, do that. You got till Tuesday.
Till Tuesday. Oh, what's happening Tuesday?
I'll let you know if you call me.
Okay, will do, Bob. Will do for sure. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we'll clear with VE3XKV, and let's see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the AREG Net Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Anyone, anywhere, please come now. All right, so Bob was number 14. Very good. So let's go to the top and say hello again to our first check-in, my neighbor, Kevin, VA3 November Echo.
Yeah, VA3NE. I'm surprised how well my portable's picking up with the Porky Beans Magna Mountain East Trough there. I can hear everybody. I don't think I even hear Richard and that as well as I do in the house on the base with the antenna in the backyard. Mind you, it don't go over the roof. So that's all I got to say, Chuck.
All right, very good, Kevin. Well, let's see who. Well, our next guest here is Mac, and let's see if he can hear you on your portable on Simplex VA3 IMW. Mac, are you there?
VA3 IMW, VA3 CJZ 59. Roger. Oops, sorry. Yes, I could hear Kevin. He's about an S7, bringing in some crackle and hiss with him, but his pork and beans antenna is doing just fine. And I think if you push enough RF into that tin, it'll heat up and you can serve it over toast. Roger?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Usually my base is only between 7 and 9 to Mac. It's 7 most of the time and 9 on a good day, so I'm doing as good as the base with 50 watts with only 5 or 6 watts here. That's pretty good to hear. All right, back to you there, Chuck.
All right, very good. So let's turn it back over to Mac, VA3 IMW. Do you have any traffic, any announcements that I may have missed, or anything that you'd like to say there, Mac?
Well, let's just use this time for a quick rundown on our local nets, if you don't mind. Saturdays and Sundays, we're doing the ZOE Lake Ontario Radio Club net 7 p.m. 443.075. And obviously, we are using the Simplex frequency Tuesdays and Thursday 446.125. Other than that, we're supporting the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club nets on Monday evening at 7 and 8 o'clock. The NCF repeater with Marty at 7 p.m. And thankfully, they've got both the 2-meter and 440 sides back up and running. And then obviously with the VE3BK at 8 o'clock on 3.693. And of course, we run into Wednesday night where we pop over to the RSB 440 repeater to attend the Burlington Amateur Radio Club net with Chris, VE3RWJ, as the Master of Ceremonies. And wrapping up the week, we'll finish up with Larry, VE3LBI, for the ZOE Rag Chew starting at 8 p.m. And that's kind of the long and the short of it. Oh, and I forgot one other thing. That guy, VA3IMW, still runs the Sunday night 70 centimeter sideband net on 440. We'll use the 446.125 frequency. That starts at 8 o'clock and finishes when I get thirsty. Anyways, I'll throw it back to you, Chuck, and thanks for doing what you're doing. And I don't think I ever heard whether North End Richard could hear me from his current location.
Yes, I can.
Well, that makes me feel so much better. I feel rectified or exemplified or something like that. Thanks, Richard. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't rear end you. And I hope the one that did gets her just desserts. Roger?
Oh, yeah, I don't know about desserts. She's going to get something or other because this van's getting a little beat up with dings and dongs from bloody parking lots and whatnot, and the wind taking the door and slamming into a pole. And the only thing good on the bloody van was the back tail lights and the deck. You know, everything else is scratched up and dinged. So anyway, I don't care. It'll be my last purchase. I just want to make sure it rolls in a straight line and be stopped and it can do what I want it to do, and that's it. I don't care. Anyway, speaking of Ron, I did meet him once. I picked up what was it? We're talking about 48s, 47s. Like a service manual for a TRC 47. That's going back about, I think it was before the days of the Geneva interference.
Yeah, the TC47 was before they brought in 40-channel CDs, and you're dating yourself there. Anyways, yeah, Ron was a good old soul, that's for sure. Had a few QSOs with him, and as everybody else has said, he'll be sorely missed. He's actually Rick's cousin, VE3BK. Yeah, it's we're all connected in some way. I'm sure everybody who hasn't talked to Ron might have heard him on the air once or twice, and certainly did not like the news that he was being transferred back to St. Pete's after he had been moved to the General. We thought he was on the road to recovery. The unfortunate thing in St. Pete's is that's not a good place to be. Let's just leave it at that. Anyways, what else can I say? Well, Chuck, still looking forward to my travel plans for work. September 5th, head out to Langenville, France for a lot of exciting activity there. We're going to be doing prototype work for vehicle structures that are made from what they call giga casting. So the rear structure of a Ford SUV, it's going to come out of one big machine and one super mega tool that's going to form all the ribs and contours and all the rest of the geometry of the rear floor. So we're really excited to be part of that, and that's the thing that keeps me hopping day to day. Anyways, Chuck, it's time for me to go for a quick jog, and I'll be away from the radio for about maybe 30 or 45 seconds, depending on whether snacks trap me down when I'm in the kitchen. So I'll be back shortly. VA3 IMW. Back to you, Chuck.
All right. Remember not to leave the fridge door open too long. You remember that? Whenever I'd go to my grandparents, my grandfather always would give me heck for opening the fridge door, because you're a kid, right? You're over at grandma's, you're nosy, you go in there, look in the fridge, and you just look at the food, right? And grandpa would be like, close that door. All right, Mac, we'll let you go, and I think we can manage while you're gone. So let's go to Jason now. VE3 Zulu Juliet Charlie. Are you still there, Jason?
Yes, sir, I am still here. If Mac's still listening, you're 10 over S9 to me. Chuck, you're 20 over. North End Richards 20 over. VA3NE is 10 over. And KKP, when I caught him there at the end of the last round, was, I believe, just an S9. As for me, I am keeping an eye on the ball game, keeping an ear on the net, and I am waiting for the latest iteration of my new mount for the car to print off in my basement, so I can get the faceplate in a good position for the commute to and from the office.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Yes, I heard you mentioning that you were printing stuff for your radio for the car, I think. And so, but before we let you go, what's your general location there, Jason?
So I am at the corner of almost Main. I'm Main and Sanford, between Main and King. I'm about 30 seconds from the pizza place and the Tim Hortons. Everything here is within walking distance of my house.
Okay, roger that. Just so everyone that you gave radio checks to have a general idea of where your location is. Thanks again, Jason. All right, so we'll let you go, and maybe you'll be able to listen in on this day coming up shortly. And so we'll clear with VE3 Zulu Juliet Charlie, and let's go to Wade out in the West End, VA3 NCA.
But yeah, still here listening along, Chuck, and listening to all the stories there. I'm not sure. Did we lost on some of the folks' first view of the ocean, but I was reminded by somebody's story. I can't remember who mentioned it about the jellyfish, and so many years ago I was a semi-active scuba diver, and one recollection is being down south and scuba diving in the ocean, and we came up, and turned out we were swimming in a bunch of the locals called them pico pico. They were little jellyfish, and we had wetsuits on, so we were mostly protected. But what wasn't protected was around our cheeks, right around the regulators, and so we got a few stings. But very rapidly decided, go back down, get out of this cloud, and swim around them. It's much better not to go through those things. They were relatively harmless little things. Some of them can be quite dangerous. These ones were relatively harmless, just a little bit irritation. But yeah, so be careful when you're swimming in the ocean. There's varying degrees of animals that may take issue with you being there alongside them. All in all, these little pico jellyfish weren't the worst. Anyways, right, with that, I am going to listen along for the rest of the session, but I'm going to cue us wide to YouTube for the remainder, so I can get ready for bed, because the morning comes early and I'll be back on the bike again. So thanks for doing it. I'll say 73 because I won't be around for the 73 round, but I will be listening along on YouTube. Which is nice that I can still take in the rest of the show without being in front of the radio. Thanks for doing it, Chuck, and 7-3 to all. VA3NCA, back to net.
All right, Wade. Well, I'm glad you're making good use of the YouTube stream, and that's what it's there for. And so I believe it was North and Richard who originally talked about the little jellyfishes. And usually when you see one, chances are you're going to see more of them in that area. If not, like you said, a big school of them or a cloud. So they might be cute to look at, but don't trust any animal, any wild animal. They bite, they sting, they don't know who you are. So got to be careful. You're right there, Wade. Thanks again for sharing all that with us. Scooby Doo, Wade, part-time scuba diver. All right, so let's go to VA3 VJC. You still there, Richard?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's getting dark in the park. Oh shit, I made it funny. Anyway, yeah, I'm just listening to all the talk and the whatnot about jellyfishes and the stuff coming up, like the that motorbike.
Yep.
Can't get away from noise anywhere. Anyway, I was trying to write down all the stuff coming up, the special events and then the contests and all that stuff, but I'll come across it later. I probably won't even compete because I don't have an antenna up yet. I really don't give two hoots about HF right now. To worry about the interior politics of the house, but that's not going to be aired tonight. Anyway, speaking of silent keys, there's this fella around the corner from me on the dead end of, I think it's Ferry Street. Big antenna, big thing above it. I'm trying to think of his call. I think it was VMO, Victor Mike Echo. Is he still around?
VE3 Victor Mike Oscar. Vic is around. He usually sits on the ZOE repeater there. I heard him before the net.
Oh, then he must have moved then. I guess maybe he got his school bus he was after. Maybe it's just permanently mobile, portable, but I don't think he's in my neighborhood anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Kevin, KKP, come on in. Go ahead. So Vic is still at the same house there, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I think he had issues with the antenna. Apparently, it's all coming down. Everything is going. He even has to sell his all his train set stuff. So I guess the family is cleaning house.
Yeah, the daughter, yeah.
Richard, are you there? Do you copy?
Copy. I was just sitting back listening. I didn't know that. I didn't. Well, his affairs are obviously not for public hearing either. But I saw that the antennas were deserted, and his funny-looking little mobile was no longer around. I don't know if he still got it. I didn't see it there, but I saw some other strange vehicles. I figured either he moved out, went to the nursing home, or maybe went silent key. But it's nice to hear that he's still around, and I'll keep an eye on his ZOE. Maybe I can run into him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's usually sitting around on the ZOE there. So go ahead and give him a shout. Okay, Richard, thanks for joining us once again. Much appreciated, sir. And your location is fantastic. Signal strength and audio just right up there, top notch. Okay, my friend, let's go down the list here, and I'd like to acknowledge VE3FNI Sean for checking in with us on the YouTube stream. Thank you, Sean, as well as VE3IUK and VA3FMB, Wayne. So let's go to the next person here on RF, VE3 Juliet Golf Kilo. Gary, you still with us? All right, let's go to VA3OYL. Debbie, are you still around?
Yes, I am. I'm yawning away. I think I'll be going to bed early tonight. I had my first swim of the summer. My back is finally well enough. So I went to a friend's, and I guess being out in the fresh air and in the sun and the water and whatnot tuckered me out. But it's good to be doing normal things again. But I'm still taking it easy, and hopefully I won't have another back episode like that.
Yeah. You got to know your limitations, and so I'm glad you had some fun in the sun and the water, and so you'll sleep good tonight. Then hopefully it wasn't the net that's putting you to sleep.
Oh, no. It's keeping me awake. Yeah, and I took my dog over to my friends, and my dog met another dog, a Sheltie. So they're shy dogs. So, but they got along okay. I think it'll take a couple more meetings for the Sheltie to get used to my dog. But it was very positive, so I'm happy about that. And I think the fresh air and the sun and the water and everything tuckered him out as well. I sort of dunked him in the pool just to get him wet, so keep him cool. He wasn't too sure about that, but he was okay afterwards.
Oh, that's always good, eh? If you can tucker out your dog and have him pass out, you know you had a good day. Okay, Deb, that's great news. And so you enjoy the rest of the week, and maybe we'll hear you somewhere down the log on HF or something. I do occasionally hear you making contact. So let's continue on before we start the On This Day and see if Vanya's still with us. VA3XLJ, Vanya.
Yeah, it's almost home, so I'll come back to you guys later on.
Okay, sounds good. Later on. How about VE3FJJ? Flynn, are you there?
Hey, Chuck, how are you? I don't know if that's any better or not, but I got it working.
Hey, there you are. You're S8 now. S8.
Ah, perfect. Do I still have that flutter at all, or?
No, that's gone. Just a slight bit of hissing noise there, which is understandable for any signal under 9S units. So yeah, you're flickering between 7 and 8 now.
Ah, beautiful. No, I found out my end of the coax for the other antenna, the connector, actually the sleeve broke. So I was like, all right, so I had to swap out the coax and put the new antenna up, so I'm trying it now, so it's working.
Yes, sir. There you go. And of course, using Simplex is the perfect opportunity to test these things out. And you don't have to hit the reverse button on your radio. And so, very good then. So now you know.
Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, perfect. So anyone else out there can give me a report. It'd be awesome. But if not, well, I'll find out later on. But I'll let you get back to it, Chuck.
All right. Does anyone else remember what Flynn was hitting him at and what he's doing now? Please come now.
3A3 BJC. Yeah, Flynn was doing a flutter, 1 dot, no dot, flutter. But now he's up to 3 dots, solid, with a little bit of bacon frying. Otherwise, perfectly clear signal.
There you go, Flynn. Richard is in the north end.
Yeah, I can hear him, but I still got a little static on him. So I heard him say, if you can correct me, that I was flickering a little bit, but now I'm not. QSL.
Yeah, you were flickering S1, and now you're up to S3 to him, and solid. Just a little bit of bacon frying.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Richard, out there. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, right here. 7-3.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much. I'll let you get back to the net.
Okay, very good then, Flynn. So we'll clear with VE3FJJ. Just putting new coax and a different antenna on, sounding better. All right. Do we have anyone else out there listening that would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. Please come now.
VE3 LBI.
VE3LBI. Larry, come on in.
Yep, just got here, Chuck. Just started to listen along here.
All right. Hey, we have a question of the night, and that is, do you remember the first time you saw the ocean?
Well, my folks were from the East Coast, so yes.
Fair enough. I've been fortunate enough to see the ocean from Florida, from Nova Scotia, and from California, the Pacific Ocean there, and as well as being along the St. Lawrence Seaway there. But that's not really an ocean, but it leads into it. So very good then, Larry. So you were raised on the East Coast, or what's the story?
No, I wasn't raised here. I wasn't raised on the East Coast. I was raised here in Ontario. My dad worked in the coal mines in Nova Scotia, and he said it was the armpit of the world. He'd never go back, and he never did. Just on vacation. Probably when I was about 5, maybe 4 or 5. But we did some also. We did a little bit of cruising there, so I saw quite a few different oceans on the cruises.
All right, very good. Yeah, so okay, so that explains it. I didn't know they had coal mines in Nova Scotia.
Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, was the biggest coal mine disaster in the world, other than the ones that have come now from China and stuff. Yeah, I know it was the biggest coal mine disaster in the world at one point.
Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, it's just something that I've probably heard. When was this?
The year? You'd have to look it up. My grandfather was killed in the coal mines, not with one of the disasters. It was more than one, but my grandfather was actually killed in the coal mines. Like I said, my dad never. We went there when we were first married. We went down and met them down there. Stayed in a cabin on the beach, and we did some traveling around. And we went into Spring Hill, and it's open to public to walk in to go down into the coal mines. And Dad said, looked out all of us, my mom, myself, and my wife, and said, I don't want to go down there, and you guys don't want to go down there. He said, it's the armpit of the world.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a tough job for sure. I think I mentioned last week there, if it wasn't for children minors, which is all mostly what it was for a long time in Ireland, we wouldn't have 40-hour weeks or unions for that matter, because children actually started the first union, and so yep, tough job for sure. And also, Halifax had the largest explosion at the time with two ships colliding during World War II, was it, or World War One? And two ships collided and exploded, caught fire and exploded, and it devastated the whole city. Windows blown out, buildings blown apart. Uh, glass, of course, everywhere. Just major carnage.
Yeah, so you asked in 1891 there was an explosion, and in 1956 there was an explosion. I'm just looking at the other one. In 1956, sorry, one more. In 1958 there was a bump, but you'd have to read it up for the number of miners that were killed and stuff, but trapped and all the rest of it. No, it's a lot of it has to do with gases and stuff. And of course, back then we didn't have all our what we classify as safety equipment today and all the rest of it. But my dad always said, yeah, you were not allowed to carry a match into the coal mines. If you were caught with one, they were basically almost hung. So, and if you had one, you put it right in your canteen. Obviously, no smoking because of the gases down there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember watching a documentary about the Chilean miners that were stuck down after a cave in the mine, and 32 miners were down there for like 3 months. They managed to drill down, and when the guys saw the drill coming through, they spray painted it red. And so when they pulled it out, they knew that they had found the miners. And so the miners used these tubes to lower, medicine, water, food. And so they hung down there for like 3 months. But they actually they got them out in two, I think. But still, that's can you imagine? That's they said if it wasn't for their faith and being unified, they just wouldn't have made it. So yeah, I feel for miners for sure. All right, Larry. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that. And do you have anything else for us before we continue on?
No, just working in the backyard. I have a lean-to off the garage that was leaking disastrously. Not from anything that I've done, but previously. So I've fixed the leak, which has to do with the eaves troughs, and put some drip cap on it, and had to remove the floor, which was basically done with a shovel because it had just deteriorated down to nothing. So trying to dry it out a little bit so it can go in the garbage instead of me hauling out to the dump. Take something out to the dump is $21 now a load. Anything under 100 and under kilograms is $21 now to go to take it out to the dump. I went, wow.
Oh, really, eh? Yeah. Yeah, and they have garbage police out there too. No, you can't put that there. There's nail in that wood. You can't put that there.
Or pressure treated and all the rest of the noise. So, anyways, nope, that's it, Chuck. I'll let you carry on. Thanks for picking me up, and I'll be listening along to the duration here.
Okay, very good then. So we'll clear with VE3LBI and do another call out for the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. We're looking for check-ins. This is VA3CJZ. Please come now. Okay, before we continue on, this is the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. We will be celebrating 30 years of the AREG being on once a week in 4 weeks from today. We are at week 1560. When we reach 1564, it'll be our 30-year anniversary. I hope to hear all of you then. Drop by and say hi, quick check-in. You don't have to stick around, but the more the merrier. That would be great. And so if there aren't any more check-ins, we'll start the on this day.
Yeah, I'll take my round 2 here. I gotta run in 2 minutes.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Bob was talking about, Meisner's Flea Market on Highway 5. Well, that's a pretty good location for the tower. I didn't know that. And Flynn, I didn't hear the first go around, but he was 40 over on the second, which I'm sure he was pretty close to on the first. And I was just wondering if Bob was going to that hernia hospital in Thornhill there to get it done. Shoal dice or something.
Well, let's check with Bob, VE3XKV.
What's up, Chuck?
Yeah, Kevin, VE3KKP has got a question there. Go ahead, Kevin.
In Toronto there?
Negative. They won't take me.
They won't take you?
Nope. Got other issues. I got some heart issues that they have to address first.
Oh, okay. All right. That's my ex-father-in-law went there to get his done. And wow, what a place! That's all they do. And yeah, I was pretty impressed. We were all pretty impressed. But okay, I was just wondering. That's a pretty popular place for that. Well, like I say, that's all they do. Okay, I didn't know that they wouldn't do it if you had other complications there.
Well, that's why they have such a good record. I was there, and they checked me out and everything, and but they were waiting for a report from my doctor from my complete medical history and all that, and they turned me down. So then one of my surgeons, he suggested another guy here at the general, and we're going that way.
All right. Yeah. No, I was just wondering. That's all. Anyway. All right. Yeah, that's pretty neat. The Meisner's flea market. That's the place you mentioned there. I couldn't remember. That's a good spot for the antenna for sure, or the tower. Actually, the same guy, his father-in-law, he used to. He raised all his kids on Mazza Avenue there. But anyway, all right. I'll turn it back over to Chuck there and let him get on with on this day.
Yeah, no problem there, Kevin. So glad you straightened that out too. I couldn't remember the name of that place. Yeah, the flea market there. I've been there. Okay, very good, Kevin. So, do we have anyone else out there wishing to check in with us here on the AREG net? This is VA3CJZ.
Yeah, I caught most of that stainless steel wire there, Bob. I caught most of that there.
Okay, sorry about that, Chuck.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You keep going. I didn't know you had more to say there, Bob.
Oh no, I was just saying to Kevin there that they use stainless steel wire to repair these hernias there, and it must be really, really fine stuff because I mean stainless steel, like it's pretty stiff.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about hernia surgery there, so I don't want to know.
Well, it's just one of those things that happens, Chuck. I was just doing my normal work. Maybe I was pushed a little bit hard, but then I all of a sudden felt some pain and thought nothing of it, and the pain didn't go away. So, after 3 or 4 days, I figured, wonder what's going on, and then it just started to develop from there.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to lift a car engine to get a hernia. I know. That's too bad, though.
Yeah, well, it's all part of life, Chuck. Yeah. So anyway, just give me a call and I'll give you the lowdown on everything.
Absolutely. Probably tomorrow there, Bob. Probably around lunchtime.
I'll be here.
Alrighty then. Sounds good. Okay, so do we have any other comments, announcements, or check-ins for this week's AREG Net? This is VA3 CJZ. All right, well, nothing heard. Let's start off with on this day. We're at week 128 weeks that I've been doing on this day. And so let's start off with today's famous birthdays. And let's go to 1819 on this day. Is the birthday of Jonathan Homer Lane. Now, he's an American astrophysicist who mathematically analyzed the sun as a gaseous body. He was born in New York, passed away in 1880. Next, we've got Marvin Minsky, born on this day in 1927, passed away in 2016, but he's an American artificial intelligence computer scientist at MIT, born in New York City, New York. Artificial intelligence computer scientist, yeah, well, let's see now, born in 1927, passed away in 2016. That would make him, 80, just about 80 years old there. So, or more than that. So, okay, interesting. All right, who remembers Jaws? The actor Robert Shaw, the feisty captain there. He was born on this day, 1927. Passed away in 1978. He's a British actor, novelist, and playwright. He was in the movie, other than Jaws, he was in the movie Deep, Sting. He was in Black Sunday, amongst others. He was born in Lancashire. Like I said, passed away in 1978. Let's go to boxing now. Kenny Norton, born in 1943 on this day. He passed away in 2013. American boxer, WBC heavyweight champion, 1978. And he had the famous Muhammad Ali trilogy, 3 fights with Muhammad Ali. And I think he should have won 2 out of those 3 matches, but the judges decided against that. And we all know how boxing was fixed back in the day. So to me, in my eyes, going the full distance, Ken Norton had beaten Ali. That's just my opinion. He was born in Jacksonville, Illinois. Next, we've got Sam Elliott, has a birthday today. He's an American actor. He was born in A Star Is Born. He was in that Roadhouse Blues there with the other dancing fellow. What's his name? He just passed away recently as well. Sam Elliott. Anyways, happy birthday, Sam Elliott, born in 1944 on this day in Sacramento, California.
Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. Please.
All right. Next, we've got music industry. We've got Marinus, or as they called him, Rinus Gerritsen, born on this day, 1946. He's a Dutch rock bassist and keyboardist for Golden Earring. You know the song Radar Love? One of his most famous songs. He was born in The Hague, South Holland, Netherlands. And he's still alive. So next we've got Chris Haney, born on this day, 1950. Chris Haney is a Canadian journalist who created the board game Trivial Pursuit. He was born in Welland, Ontario. If I'm not mistaken, there were 2 gentlemen, but he's a Canadian connection. Next, we've got Melanie Griffith. I think she was Don Johnson's wife at one time, as well as Antonio Banderas. She was born on this day, 1957. She used to be an actress, not anymore. I don't see her anywhere. Born in New York City. She was also in the movie Body Double and Working Girl. Next, we've got Whitney Houston. She was born on this day, 1963. Passed away now. It's been 13 years. She passed away in 2012. Whitney Houston is an American singer. Most famous song, I Will Always Love You, from the movie Bodyguard. I Want to Dance with Somebody. And she was an actress in the movie The Bodyguard. Born in Newark, New Jersey. Next, we've got Brett Hull. Brett Hull, celebrating his 59th birthday. Born in 1964, today. Canadian-American NHL right winger. 8-time All-Star, 2-time Stanley Cup winner. Born in Belleville, Ontario. Deion Sanders, one of the players I dislike the most in the NFL. Happy birthday, Deion. He was born on this day in 1967. He would be 56 years old today. He's an American College Pro Football Hall of Fame cornerback. Yada, yada, yada. Born in Fort Myers, Florida. Eric Bana was born on this day in 1968. Eric Bana is an Australian actor. I didn't know that. Born in Melbourne, Australia. And he's most famously known for playing the Hulk. Next, we've got Gillian Anderson from the X-Files. She was born on this day also in 1968 in Chicago, Illinois. She's done other things other than the X-Files, but just for general, for everyone's general knowledge. And then we have Chris Como, celebrating a birthday today. The fired news anchor from CNN was born on this day in 1970. All I'm going to say about him is he was born in Queens, New York City. And that is the last person on my list of famous people born on this day. Do we have any questions, comments, clarifications, or anyone wishing to check in? Please come now. VA3CJZ. All right, who died today in history? Well, that's a good question. In 1911, on this day, John Gates, also known as Bet a Million Gates, he's an American inventor, industrialist who established the market for barbed wire fencing. He dies following an unsuccessful operation to remove a throat tumor at the age of 56. So, yeah, every farmer wanted barbed wire. Okay, this next one. Hugo Boss. He passed away in 1948 on this day. He's a German fashion designer. Hugo Boss, he dies at the age of 63. That was it back in 1948. Now, the company Hugo Boss was founded in 1924 in Italy by Hugo Boss and originally produced general purpose clothing. With the onset of the Great Depression and the rise of Nazism in the early 1930s, Boss began to produce uniforms for the Nazi Party. Boss would eventually supply the Nazi Germany government with military uniforms, resulting in a large boost in sales. Yeah, no doubt. Another person who supplied the Nazis was Henry Ford. Henry Ford didn't care who bought his vehicles. He sold to the Germans as well as the Americans. And there's others too. All right, let's move on to the Manson family murders here. 1969 on this day, Jay Sebring, an American hairstylist, is murdered by the Manson family, and he is 35 years old. And that was in 1969 on this day. Again in 1969, Sharon Tate, American actress. She was in the movie Valley of the Dolls. She was murdered by the Manson gang at the age of 26 years old. And then in 69 again, we have Stephen Parent, which is an American student. He was murdered by the Manson family at the age of 18. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people probably don't know that one of the women that did these murders has just been released from prison about a month or so ago. Check up on that. Okay, next we've got Jerry Garcia passing away on this, or sorry, no. What am I? Yeah, people passing away. So Jerry Garcia passes away in 1995 on this day. He's an American rock and bluegrass guitarist, singer, songwriter for the Grateful Dead and Uncle John's Band. He dies of a heart attack at the age of 53. All right, let's go to 1996 on this day. James Whitman McLemore passes away at the age of 70. James Whitman McLemore is an American businessman and first CEO of Burger King, who created the Whopper. James Whitman McLemore. All right, let's go to 1996. Sir Frank Whittle passes away on this day, 96. He is an English RAF engineer, that's the Royal Air Force, air officer, and inventor of the turbojet engine. He dies at the age of 89. Next, we've got Gregory Hines. That may sound familiar to some of you. He passed away on this day in 2003. He's an American actor and dancer. He was in the movies White Nights and Taps. Very good dancer. I saw those movies. He dies of liver cancer at the age of 57. Next person passing away on this day in 2007 is Tetsuzo Akutsu. He's a Japanese surgeon who built the first artificial heart. He dies at the age of 84. And the year after, in 2008, on this day, Bernie Mac passes away. He's an American comedian and actor. He had the Bernie Mac Show. He was in the movies Ocean's 11, and he died of a heart attack at the age of 50. And anyone who's watched football during the 90s and 2000s will probably remember Frank Gifford. Frank Gifford passed away on this day in 2015. He was an NFL player at one time and broadcaster. He was 84 years old when he died. Okay, we have the next person that passed away on this day, and he's the last person I have on my list here, and his name is Martin Birch. Passed away in 2020. He is a British sound engineer for Fleetwood Mac and Deep Purple, and he was also a record producer for Whitesnake and Iron Maiden. He dies at the age of 71. That wraps up people that passed away on this day. Any questions, comments, or check-ins, please come now. VA3 CJZ. All right. Well, hopefully that silence means everybody's enjoying it. And so we'll continue on with today's historical events. Let's go to 1173 is the year. It's the construction of the Tower of Pisa in Italy. It begins in 1173 on this day, and it takes 2 centuries to complete. So, wow. I didn't know it took 2 centuries. That's crazy. All right, so we go from 1173 to the year 1483, and that's the opening of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. The Sistine Chapel is, of course, where Michelangelo painted the whole ceiling. Very famous artwork. All right, so you people from the UK now, Cromwell divides England. Now, in the year 1655, the mighty, this is his title now, Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell divides England into 11 districts. I remember reading about Cromwell in high school. Next, we have a historic event of Captain Cook reaches the Bering Straits. In 1778, Captain James Cook reaches Cape Prince of Wales in the Bering Straits. And that's almost Russia there, depending how far north you go. That's where those crab fishermen go fishing. All right, so from 1778 to 1790, Robert Gray's Columbia Rediviva returns to Boston after a 3-year journey, the first American ship to navigate the globe. So it was called Columbia Rediviva. Odd name. All right. I wonder if a lot of people knew about this, but Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled from France. In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte sets sail for exile on St. Helena on board British ship the Northumberland. He later returned, though. But, he was exiled. So let's jump to 1842 on this day. The U.S.-Canada border is defined by Webster-Ashburton Treaty. So that's in 1842 when they started drawing those lines in between Canada and the U.S. Next, we have a historic invention. In 1898 on this day, a gentleman by the name of Rudolf Diesel of Germany obtains a patent for his internal combustion engine, later known as the diesel engine. So that's in 1898. Okay, next we've got a royal coronation. In 1902 on this day, Edward VII of Great Britain is crowned King of the United Kingdom and the British Dominions, succeeding his mother, Queen Victoria. Now, here's a sad story. On this day in 1905, the famous Major League Baseball player Ty Cobb. Well, Ty Cobb's mother, Amanda, kills her husband after mistaking him for a burglar. Oops. That was in 1905. So let's jump to 1917. The Canadian Parliament passes the Compulsory Military Act, which is opposed by many French Canadians from Quebec. Now, that's before the end of the First World War, so conscription for Canadians. Let's jump to 1930 on this day. The animated character Betty Boop debuts in Max Fleischer's cartoon Dizzy Dishes. I remember Betty Boop. Boop boop dee doo. Boop boop dee doo. All right, next we've got a world record. In 1936 on this day, Jesse Owens is part of the American 4x100 meter relay team that wins gold in the world record, 39.8 seconds, at the Berlin Olympics in 1936. His fourth gold medal of the Games. Lots of controversy because Jesse Owens is a black man. Okay, here's one of my favorites. On this day, 1944, Smokey Bear debuts as spokesperson for fire prevention for U.S. Forest Service, named after a New York City fireman, Smokey Joe Martin. So that's how Smokey Bear got his start, from a fireman named Smokey Joe Martin. Okay, here we go. Today is August 9th, and today is the day in 1945 the United States drops the second atomic bomb, called the Fat Man, on Nagasaki, Japan, destroying part of the city, of course. And 3 days earlier, they dropped the first bomb on August 6th. So it says here, on August 6, 1945, during World War II, An American B-29 bomber dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. That was August 6th. The explosion immediately killed an estimated 80,000 people. Tens of thousands more would die later from radiation exposure. And then 3 days later, a second B-29 dropped another A-bomb on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. Japan's Emperor Hirohito announced his country's unconditional surrender in World War II in a radio address on August 15th, citing the devastating power of a new and most cruel bomb. All right, a little bit of happy news here. 1966, on this day, the Beatles released their Yellow Submarine single and its album Revolver in the United States. Now back to some bad news. On this day in 1969 is when the Manson family commits Tate LaBianca murders. We went through that earlier. Let's go to 1974. Richard Nixon resigns as President of the United States, and Vice President Gerald Ford swears the oath of office and takes his place as the 38th U.S. President. Now, I saw this the letter that Nixon wrote, and all it says is, "I hereby resign the office of President of the United States. Sincerely, Richard Nixon." That was it. So, yeah, that was in 1974, folks. All right, let's go to 1977. The NHL refuses the merger of 6 WHA clubs. Then in 1981, on this day, All-Star most valuable player for the Major League Baseball is Gary Carter. At the time, he was with the Montreal Expos. So Gary Carter's jersey, I think, is up in the bleachers there. So let's jump to 1988 now. The Edmonton Oilers trade Wayne Gretzky to the LA Kings for $15 to $20 million. Remember, folks, that's back in 1988. That's a ton of money. All right, in 1992, future 6-weight boxing world champion Oscar De La Hoya of the United States beats German Marco Rudolph on points to win the lightweight gold medal at the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. I didn't know that he had 6 weight division championships. Wow. Okay. I doubled that one. Okay, here's an event of interest in history. In 2001, on this day, U.S. President George W. Bush announces his support for federal funding of limited research on embryonic stem cells. And then in 2012, on this day, Jamaican sprinter superstar Usain Bolt wins the 200 meter at the London Olympics in 19.32 seconds to become the first to win the 100 and 200 meter double in back-to-back Olympics. All right, our last story is interesting. In 2021, on this day, a herd of 14 elephants returning home from a 500-kilometer trek across China leads authorities to evacuate 150,000 people out of their path. Interesting. That must have 14 elephants, eh? We're coming through. All right, folks. Well, that is the last one. I hope you enjoyed my On This Day. It was fun researching it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And so with that, do we have any questions or comments, or anyone else wishing to check in to the Amateur Radio Exchange Group net?
Recheck, VE3LBI.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I figure you're going to do a last call, so I'm going to make mine right now. I'll be back, but I have a couple things to do, and I didn't want to miss it. So, all right, thanks for doing it, Chuck. 7-3.
Okay, Larry, not a problem. I'm feeling my blood sugars get low. I'm going to need to get something sweet into me shortly. So let's do a quick rundown then and see if who we got left. VA3 NE, last call. Number 2, VA3 IMW.
Well, Chuckles, a great net as usual. So I'll not hold it. I'll pass it along and bid everybody 7-3s. I'll be QRT once you finish up here. 7-3s, 1-0. Victor Alpha 3, India, Mike Whiskey.
All right, Mac, I just want to confirm that Garbage Day was moved ahead one day this week.
QSL, you're going to put yours out on Friday morning.
All right, very good. Okay, Mac, thank you very much. I do appreciate your check-in and spending time with us. And so I can't wait for you to go on your business trip to Europe. Sounds like a ton of fun, and I'm sure as the days get closer, we'll get a bit more information there as to what's going on. But yep, start packing now. Like Kevin said, there only pack one pair of underwear, one pair of socks, and a shirt, and the rest it can be radio gear. All right, so let's go to VE3 Zulu Juliet Charlie. Jason, last call.
Thanks, Chuck, and thanks for doing the net. 73 to you, 73 to everybody that's still listening tonight. Fantastic job as always, and look forward to next week. Victor Echo 3 Zulu Juliet Charlie.
All right, very good then. Thank you, Jason. Glad you stuck around, and glad you enjoyed it. Before we move along here, let's go to YouTube here, where Bill VE3IUK posted earlier that that explosion in Halifax was during World War I. Canadian author Hugh McClellan wrote a book called Barometer Rising, which was about the explosion. Thank you, Bill. We can always count on Bill. All right, where are we? Next on the list would be NCA. Wade, thank you very much for being with us again this week. And that's fabulous. That's almost 100 kilometers a day you've done so far. There 800 and some odd kilometers on so far, and it's only August 9th. Way to go. All right, let's go to North End. Richard, hopefully he's still awake. VA3 VJC.
Oh yeah, I'm still awake. I'm starting to doze off with a bloody breeze coming through the car. You know, it's so relaxing. It's like being out in the country. Maybe I might try to do that one day. See if I can make it from the sister's place. Maybe I'll get a decent antenna. Anyway, yeah, I'm still awake, and it's been an interesting net. Okay, well done, and just to finally report that if things don't go or improve, Monday I'm going to take another stroll over to the general and seek their expert help into getting this leg situation. And my smelly urine too. It's like a can of sardines. You know, try not to get too graphic, but still, I got something going on inside me. I want to get checked out.
Must be all that cabbage juice there, Richard. Yeah, you go and get that checked out. Okay, my friend, nice to have you back with us again tonight. Great location there, so hope to hear you again soon. Remember, Vic VMO is on the ZOE repeater. Give him a shout. He's always listening, probably. So thanks again, Richard. Next, who do we have? We got Sean, VE3FNI. Thank you again on YouTube. VE3IUK. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated. Next is VE3JGK. Gary, you still there? Okay, next we've got Debbie, VA3OYL.
I'm still here. Good job, Chuck. Entertaining as always. I'll say 7-3 to all. And I hope you have a good week. And may the radio gods be with everyone. So 7-3. Victor Alpha 3, obey your leader.
Yeah, absolutely, Deb. The sun is super, super active. And so conditions are up and down, quite noisy during the day. The evenings are great, but that's the only best time for me to do HF anyway. So keep looking at the AREG Facebook page. We do have a page on Facebook. Just type in into the Facebook search at the top left. Type in A-REG, and our page will come up, and apply to be a member, and we'll bring you in. So that's another avenue that I post videos quite regularly about solar activity from the space weather lady, Tamitha Scove. She posts update on the solar activity. Very helpful for radio and aurora watchers and all kinds of other info. All right. Thank you, Deb, VA3OYL. Take care. Next, we've got Vanya, VA3XLJ. You got the car full of gas yet? All right. VE3FJJ. Flynn, you still there? Last call. All right. Next, I'd like to thank VA3 Fox Mike Bravo. Wayne in Mississauga. Thanks again for checking in, sir. Much appreciated. I think KKP, or no, it was Larry that did his final. Let's see if VE3 KKP is still with us. All right. Next is VE3XKV. Bob, you still there? Last call, sir. Okay, and Larry was number 15. So let's do one last call out for any last call check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ. Anyone, anywhere, please come now.
VA3COF.
VA3COF. Damien, come on in. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. Just been listening in and out for the last hour, and just thought I'd do a quick last-minute check-in. That's all. Over.
Roger, roger that, Damien. You're doing a great job over here by the Center Mall. Full strength, full quieting, great audio. And so thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed yourself. And maybe we'll get you next week. So have a great rest of the week, Damien. And we'll talk to you again soon. Anyone else want to check in? Last minute check-ins before we wrap up. One more week of AREG. This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Echo 3 Zulu Victor Waterford.
There's somebody we haven't heard in a couple of weeks. VE3 Zulu Victor. Steve, come on in. How's it going, sir?
Hey, Chuck, we're doing well. Yeah, we were away 1 week. We were in Manitoba, so just that week, and then been fairly busy here with the family here. So, anyways, I just wanted to check in. Sounding good over this way. Another beautiful day, and maybe a bit of rain tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But great to hear you, Chuck.
Okay, very good, Steve. Well, glad you had a good trip out to Manitoba. I have lots of friends in Winnipeg, and so nice place. And so yeah, and thanks for checking in, Steve. We look forward to hearing you again next week. Take care. All right. Anyone else would like to be number 18 on my list? This is VA3CJZ with the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now. All right. Well, once again, it's time to say so long for another edition of the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. As I mentioned earlier, in 4 weeks from now, it'll be the 30-year anniversary for AREG that started out in Dundas 30 years ago. So we hope to definitely hear from you then. And before I go, I'd like to give my sincere condolences to Ron Moore's family, VE3RM, a silent key, also VE3RMA, as you may know him by. And so sad to add another to the list of silent keys. So until then, hopefully it's a short week for you, as Monday was a holiday, and enjoy the rest of the week and the beautiful summer weather that we have. I thought it was a very good summer. So take care. Until next time, this is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie, Juliet, Zulu, Chuck Sharon saying good night and 7-3.